365, we making a place. You talking the game, get you through the days. We're high in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety topics, living the same. All presentation, sports information. In the airways, taking the nation. All sport, all plays, like working your faces. Grace at the field, so type the laces. All sports, all plays.
And welcome to the latest edition of Fast Break. I am Ray, Mr. Bond Chronicles, and I'm excited to be here with my man Marcus, the Magic Marcus. How you doing, man?
Oh, I am awesome, Ray. How you feeling, brother?
It's Friday night. It's summertime. The weather's pretty nice, so I'm feeling pretty good. Excited for tonight's episode. Game 1 gave us a lot to talk about, so we'll definitely get into that. But yeah, I'm in a good spot. We've made it to the finals. It's sad that after this there will be no more basketball. But at the same time, you should get the best of the best. And last night, I think we saw the best of the best. We saw Steph from starting the game, shooting at a crazy level, crazy clip, and then the way the Celtics ended the game, like you can't ask for much better shooting than that from a variety of different people. So no, I'm definitely excited. We got Chris, who has come off of vacation like the Suns and decided to bless us with his presence. But real quick, John had something to say. People going to eat their words, not giving Mean Green credit. Imagine how many times Boston was down by 10 plus. I give them all the credit. I don't think we'll see game 1 again. I don't think Boston will do what they did in the fourth. I don't know if Steph can do what he did in the first. I don't think Tatum will be as bad as he was. I don't know if Horford and Smart will shoot as good as they did. So I don't know what to really expect going into game 2. I do believe the Warriors will be better. Jordan Poole looked like he did not belong on the floor. He looked like a G League player for a lot of that game. And then Clay's been Clay. You never know what you're going to get game to game. Iggy got a lot of run. Moody, Kuminga, they didn't play. I didn't care for that. I don't know how that'll impact their confidence going forward. To just be out of the entire rotation. I think there was an opportunity for them there. But there's a ton of storylines to talk about. But Marcus, I'll start with you. Kind of, what were your game 1 takeaways?
First, let me say that from that game, that's how you expect every playoffs to begin and kind of end. You know, you want the hype before the game, then you want the build up, and then you want the game to start off the way it did. You want your finals, your media finals MVP coming out firing, and then you want the other team, you know, the away team to stay in it. They took all the blows that Golden State had to offer, and then turn around and hit them boys with a Will Smith, Chris Rock smack. It was ridiculous in that fourth quarter. I mean, and you know what? And this is my problem, and I probably shouldn't start off this early with these hot takes, but I'm going to.
Let's go.
I'm thinking that they playing Jaylen Brown the same way that they play Klay Thompson. They trying to make these light-skinned cats like the face of these teams.
You know Jaylen Brown's not light-skinned.
You mean Jason Tatum?
Jaylen Brown. That's what I'm talking about. They want to make Jason Tatum I
got what he's saying.
Yeah,
they're trying to highlight Jason Tatum to make him the star.
But throughout this whole playoffs, Brown might have a bad game, you know, here and there with the turnovers, but he's been consistent on defense, and he's been keeping them in games from the start of these playoffs. I think they're giving the wrong brother shine right now.
So if Brown has a bad game, are we going to criticize him more because he's dark?
I mean, I don't think he gets criticized. I think he gets criticized a little too much because they're trying to push Tatum to the forefront. But you can't really say that Jaylen Brown has some bad games unlike Tatum. He might have some bad turnover games. But
I will say this to your point. If Boston wins, which I believe they will, and Jaylen Brown is the finals MVP, I think there's going to be a lot of people that will be upset. the expectation is that, for your argument, the light-skinned guy should win Finals MVP, and right now that's not the case. So, and to your point, and I don't even know if I'm really willing to go on this ride with you, but I will say I heard a lot more about Jason Tatum's 13 assists,
Right.
than his bad shooting or even Jaylen Brown's contribution in the fourth.
Because without his first 11 points, they don't stay in that game.
He got them off and going in that fourth quarter. He came in with some big shots, made some plays, and I did not hear as much about that as I did about Tatum's assists. And they also are burying the 3 for 17 or whatever he is as well. And they've given Al Horford a lot of shine, who's another light-skinned guy.
No,
So
come on.
If I'm gonna go down this road,
Al Horford is 42 years old. So
yeah, I like the way that Al
He
Horford
play
plays.
like
though.
no, I'm
Yeah,
just
I like
saying,
the
but
way
yeah,
he
that's why
plays.
he got so much shine for it.
Yeah, he deserved that. But what I'm saying is, you hear nothing about what Jaylen Brown did. Because if it was from him in that fourth quarter to get him going, Horford probably doesn't have the game he does. And hell, maybe Jason Tatum don't even get them 13 assists. So
I mean,
just don't
Jason
the
Tatum
narrative.
got a lot of assists from passing to Jaylen Brown and Al
Yeah,
Horford.
So it's like I know I'm dark skinned and all, but it's like sometimes we just got to stop pushing these light skinned cats narrative when it comes to when the team itself, when these other brothers are balling out. That's all I'm saying.
So
I disagree.
Chris is a member of the lighter skinned group, I guess you would claim. How do you feel about what Marcus has to say?
You know what's really funny though? I made a status about it. I was actually gonna make that one of the topics. Like, is Jason Tatum gonna be like the ultimate light skinned dude if he gets Finals MVP? But
Right.
I think one reason that we are talking about the Jason Tatum assist is simply because that's not, he's a big Mamba mentality guy. That's not a Mamba mentality type thing. It's for the assist part. That's just not what we know Jason Tatum for. We know he's going to come out there and score and, do some defense. But the assist, that was his career high. So that's why that's being highlighted. And you can't say that that's not, that didn't play a big role in them winning. But yeah, I do agree that Jaylen Brown was definitely the leader of that fourth quarter last night. Al Horford overall, but without Jaylen Brown, they go down. But I agree with you, Ray, that Boston is going to win this series. I have them in 7.
Same.
I think the thing that we do got to talk about, though, is that, like, they won last night and Jason Tatum didn't score good. And, the first 3 quarters, Steph did everything he could. He did everything but sell popcorn. So I know we're talking about, like, is Boston going to have another fourth quarter like that? Is, like you said, man, will Steph have another first quarter like that? Will Steph have another game like that? And, his tendency in the finals is, as a series kind of goes on, that pressure starts building up on Steph, and he starts kind of not being the Steph that we know. So, I don't know. I think Golden State should really worry.
And I agree with you. And I will go back to, I don't know, I forget what year it was. When they blew the 3-1 lead.
16.
I thought so. So, and this was my takeaway then, and this is kind of my takeaway now. If you went to the park, would you rather have Steph, Clay, and Draymond, or LeBron, Kyrie, and Kevin Love? And I feel like in this series, it's similar to, Steph and Clay are the names. Steph's the babyface assassin. But from top to bottom of people that are actually getting minutes, who really is the better team? And I think Boston has faced Giannis, KD, Kyrie, Jimmy Butler. They've faced adversity. Golden State went through Denver, Luka, and
a hurt Memphis.
And Dillon Brooks missed 2 games. So I think there is the talent you can argue Golden State feels they should have offensively in their firepower. But I've been saying it before, and I'll say it again. Jordan Poole this is a different ball game. This ain't regular season. This ain't G League. This ain't backups. You're not gonna play a lot of backups because a lot of backups ain't playing. And so, where was the 20 rebound game from Looney? Like that went away. Iggy, all of a sudden, he's healthy. He's back. He ate up all of GP2's minutes.
Yeah, that was the thing. Why didn't he play? I mean, you make this big deal about him coming back. Why isn't he in the rotation?
No idea.
Let's just think about this for a second. When they played Memphis, they pretty much got a gimme with that one because like I said in a prior show, Golden State had the easiest path to get to where they're going right now. Lucky breaks, whatever you want to call it. Their path was a whole lot easier to get where they at now.
But the reason I don't knock that is like I said, Phoenix choked.
I'm not even necessarily saying Phoenix choked. I'm gonna live on this bridge by myself. Y'all overhyped Phoenix off of one season.
No.
Off of one season, they overhyped.
No.
You went to the bubble.
No. We're not talking about that. We're just looking at this year alone.
Marcus,
they were 8 games above the next closest team.
Yeah,
over in the finals last year.
That's what I'm saying. Overhyped. 1 year in the final. Just like I'm going to live on this. You can't crown Giannis the best player in the NBA off of one finals run.
Who's the best player right now?
Just like they tried to crown Kawhi Leonard off that one finals run, the best player in the league. So all that stuff they do,
I'll give you more credit for that one.
Like the way they try to, they want LeBron going so bad that they just trying to crown everybody that wins the finals the next best thing in the league. And clearly, it hasn't been that.
Are you saying LeBron's still the best player in the league?
No.
Is that what you're arguing?
No. When I'm saying
so, who is the best player in the league?
You call whoever you want to call the best player. I'm going with B because I'm a Sixers guy. That's going to be me. But you can say whoever you want to call.
I wouldn't argue with you too hard.
The guy that lost to Trae Young last year and the guy that went out in the second round this year?
That's fine. You know what I'm saying? I'm not running. I don't run for that.
You're going to take that guy who lost to Trae Young last year over the guy that won the finals last year.
Well, my Sixers lost to Atlanta, so yes, I'm going to take that. But what I'm saying is you can't just qualify somebody the best player in the league after one finals run, just like you can't qualify Phoenix the best team in the league after one finals run.
But no, they were looking at everything else. It was the finals run this year. They were 8 teams above the second best team. I mean, 8 games above the second best team.
State was a 73-win team when they got bounced.
The 73-1 team was only like 6 games above the next team.
And they did lose the guy named Draymond, and they played the guy named LeBron.
Like I said, when it comes to stuff like that, it's over. Y'all put too much hype in it from 1 year.
Are you just saying that because Devin Booker's light skin?
No, that has nothing to do with this conversation.
I don't even know how we got on the Suns. Like moving forward from the Suns,
because I said they choked.
Yeah. We don't need to talk about losers and chokers.
Yeah, they didn't choke. They lost to a better team.
Dallas is not a better team than Phoenix.
And 7-game series, Dallas was the better team, and that's what it showed. Dallas was the better team.
Phoenix lost. Dallas did not win. Let's get that right.
Did you see Game 7? That was an awful performance from the
Dallas was the better team. Plain and simple. It went 7. The better team won in 7. Dallas was a better team than Phoenix. Everybody, us included in the media, except for me, I don't overhype Phoenix. I never did. There's nothing about Phoenix that says they're like a final, like they're a championship team. They have one scorer, half a point guard from time to time.
Okay, what was their point? What was their other point before we got on this?
Yeah,
it all depends. Because I don't.
Oh, you just want Golden State had an easy path. Go ahead.
Yeah, Golden State had an easy path to get to where they at right now, and Boston, I'm assuming from Christmas on, has been the better team in the NBA. Period.
For what it's worth, you say easy. They did beat the MVP, the 1 and the 2 seed.
Let's not go on MVP because that's flawed.
I mean, but
they beat the 1 seed.
Huh?
They beat the 1 seed.
You're right. They didn't beat. They beat Dallas, who was the 4.
Yeah.
So they beat the team that beat the 1 seed, and then they beat the 2 seed.
Yeah.
Like that. It ain't like they played the Lakers and the Clippers on the way to the finals. Like
no, Boston had the hardest path to get to where they're going competition wise.
Oh yeah, easily.
Nobody's
gonna argue that.
Out of the 2 or out of anybody?
Out of the whole playoffs right now.
Because I think everybody's looking at Brooklyn and Miami a little different than they were before.
I'm not gonna look at Miami differently because they
got the Bucks without Chris Middleton.
I mean, I don't think he's gonna make a big difference in that series.
He's an all-star. What do you mean he's not gonna make a big difference?
I mean, he's gonna be 20 points, but they still lost.
20 points.
Still lost, what
do you mean?
It's only 20 points.
Yeah, it's only 20 points. So it all depends on how bad or how good Chris Middleton would have shot. So we can't say Chris Middleton would have made a big difference. You just can't say that because you wouldn't know how he would have shot the ball playing against.
Could you imagine if Milwaukee averaged 20 more points a game in that series?
But would they have, though? Because even if you gave them 20 more points, they still didn't reach 100.
All right.
What?
Marcus, you got it, Mark. Keep going, man. I'm rocking with you, brother. I'm rocking with you.
All the times they lost, they were still under 100. So if you put another 20 points on there, they probably right at 100. They still would have lost.
They weren't scoring 80.
They weren't getting beat by 20 a game.
They wasn't scoring 100 is what I'm saying. So you can add that. Boston was still getting to 100 before Milwaukee. So who would have said that Chris Middleton would have had a great series against the Celtics?
You know what? You can't say that, but do you like their chances more with Middleton?
No.
I'm not a Chris Middleton fan, but they are a better team with him on the team. You had to start relying on Grayson Allen and the other people who was trash. And Chris Middleton, for better or worse, is usually their closer in close games.
Yeah.
You don't have that. Giannis is a bad free throw shooter. He's a bad
Giannis is supposed to be the best player in the NBA.
He is.
Supposed to be. That he could have got that series home without Middleton. If that's the case. You can't be the best player and not be the closer on your team. That doesn't work.
So what did Embiid close? Ever? Nothing.
But
so how is he the best player? Embiid had everybody.
I'm not biased. You see what I'm saying? I'm going to say Embiid's the better player in the NBA because he plays for my Sixers.
Oh, so despite your own logic, he's still the best player because he plays for your Sixers.
Exactly.
So if he played for Houston, he's not the best. Same. Everything's the same.
He would suck. He wouldn't get nowhere, but he plays for my Sixers.
So James Harden would then be the best player because he plays for the Sixers. Got it.
Yeah,
I'm with you.
Yeah, I would have probably put Tyrese Maxey in that category if Embiid wasn't there. I'm a hard Sixers fan, so that's just me. I'm not going to stray away from it.
I appreciate your honesty, Marcus.
So, but let's just get one thing correct. You know, when it comes to the East, the Celtics are by far the better team. And right now in Game 1, it showed that they was the better team in Game 1 in the finals. And I'm not giving Jason Tatum no love right now. It's all Jaylen Brown and Al Horford.
No, I mean, I can't argue with being the better team. Like I said, that's why I picked them. I thought they would win last night. I don't think Golden State helped themselves. Like, I didn't like the rotations. I didn't like they sat Steph too long to me in the second quarter. Like,
yeah, I don't agree with that either. I mean, it's the finals. You had a week off.
Right. Like, he was hot. I might even start him the second quarter just to keep the momentum and then set him. But like,
you know why they set him like that? Because after he did all that in the first quarter, they was only down by 4.
Which is why I think I bring him back to see if I can extend it a little. But
they did extend the lead when he was on the bench in that second quarter, because then they jumped back up to 12.
They went down. They was down at half because he sat most of the quarter.
Yeah, they were down 2 at halftime.
Oh, well, see, that's not a big deal. And then in the third quarter, they jumped back up to a 13.
They did. And then so again, bring him back to start the fourth. And they didn't do that. They got comfortable. And Jordan Poole was out there tricking the game away.
So was Draymond. I mean,
that was the point I wanted to bring up. There's no you would never think after watching that game that Draymond and Al Horford took the same amount of shots.
Right.
But
I didn't realize that.
I think Draymond was what, 2 for 12?
He was 2 for 12.
Yep.
And flex after every shot too.
Horford was 9 for 12. I mean, the and one he got was big until he blew the free throw and then blew 2 free throws down the stretch.
Right. Blew 2 free
Maybe
throws.
You should take a little bit off of it, strong man. Like, what are we doing? It just so so at halftime we were talking on Real Talk, and I said if I'm Boston, I feel great. At the end of game one, if I'm Boston, I still feel really good. But if I'm Golden State and I believe what Golden State believes, I'm okay. We played a pretty poor game from everybody outside of Steph. And outside of a historic fourth quarter, we only lost by 12. Like, I feel like they can tweak some things. Going into the fourth quarter, they should have blew the game open. So I think they can rely on that, but you got to switch some stuff up. Jordan Poole, if he ain't working, bench him. Draymond got benched for a little bit. And Iggy and Otto Porter was playing. Otto Porter gave you some good time. Yeah. But I thought you would think that the thing was experience. I thought Udoka outcoached Kerr in this game.
He did.
He figured out a way. He pushed the right buttons. He sat Marcus Smart. He stayed with
Pritchard.
Not Pritchard. Derek White down the stretch until
I think Pritchard was out there too.
Pritchard
was out like at the beginning.
A lot of Smart early, clock in the fourth quarter. So he made the decisions you had to make and rode the hands that you had to ride. Kerr didn't give the rest of his team a chance to ride. He didn't see what Kuminga's energy could do. He didn't see what Gary Payton might offer defensively once they started going and couldn't miss. Like, I just think it was a poor execution in the fourth quarter and in the second quarter. This is not the time to be resting people. People making $30, $40 million a year because they might need to play 40 minutes in these games. So yeah.
Do you think that, like, based off of history, Steve Kerr was just kind of like a little bit too cocky because they had a great third quarter, and he knows that, like, that's the quarter where they always put teams away. Like, okay, we're up 12, we can relax a little bit, going to the fourth quarter. This is a young team. They don't have any experience here. We're good. You think that's why he kind of coasted and didn't been asked?
So see, that's the thing. They've been 6 out of these past 8 years. Their finals run's been the same with the same rotation, but you got the same players basically. All you managed to do is swap out Golden State.
They're missing one big player.
No, what I'm saying is all they did was swap out Harrison Barnes for Kevin Durant, and then Kevin Durant for D'Angelo Russell for Wiggins. So their rotation players, like their big three's been there for the past decade or whatever. So they just plugging in and wins like they've done.
But you don't plug in Kevin Durant.
That's what I'm saying. Steve's Kerr rotation, he didn't really have to change much because every time he played somebody in the finals, it was either LeBron James by himself, in a sense, and then it was LeBron, then it was Golden State with Kevin Durant. So he didn't really have to change his rotation. So he could be cocky going into this Boston series because he basically got the same players he's used to with their rotations. So all you really did was swap out D'Angelo Russell for Wiggins, which we know Wiggins probably the better player than D'Angelo Russell. So he'd be confident that he could sit Steph a little bit longer. He could be confident because Jordan Poole had some good games against Denver and Memphis. So you would think like that as Steve Kerr. Because you're relying, and this goes back to, last week when I tell you, Klay Thompson, if he has a bad game, the Warriors stink. They're not winning much. They need Klay Thompson to average about 25 if they want to win the series.
You can't expect that anymore. He's not that Klay.
Now, I can't expect the defense, but when you're a jump shooter, the way they stroke it, he can get hot.
You got to think. Look at the last series. Klay had a great game 5, but up until game 5. Klay wasn't Klay.
And the series before that game, but the game 6 was great, but up till then,
like he's getting to, I don't want to say it's age or what, but
it's injury still. I mean,
yeah,
he can't average 25 a game. If you need Klay to get you 25 a game, you lose.
Right. That's what you need.
Steph giving you 34.
Steph's gonna have to average 30 in this series based on what I saw. Now, I expect the role players to get more involved. Bielitsa, Gary Payton, I expect the rotation to expand because I also don't think you can play this physical Boston defense with this short rotation and go 6 or 7 games. Like,
See, but
here's
the problem.
where you out.
Here's the problem, though, Ray, is that if you don't rely on Clay Moore and Steph, let's just say Steph goes off for another 21, 24-point quarter, and everybody else is not shooting the ball. They're cold. You see what I'm saying? So there's no way in the world that Steph's going to be able to keep that up because you do got the Whites and the Smarts banging on you. Jaylen Brown probably banging on Steph. Steph's not going to sit out there and take all them 3-point shots. He's going to have to get to the hole eventually. Then he's going to get hit probably by Horford or Williams. So they have to have Clay come along and relieve some pressure off Steph because Clay went 5 for 17, I think it was. Something with like 15 points.
Did he shoot that many shots? I didn't think he shot that many shots.
I might be wrong.
Clay was that's not right. 6 of 14.
Okay, so somewhere in that range. So he has to go. He has to take more shots. He has to get some pressure on Steph. But by Steph believed in his own hype in Game 1, going for that Finals MVP, just off the rip in Game 1. And
but he did what he was supposed to do. He scored 21 to 32, but and Undisputed says it all the time. I don't believe we live in an era where one player can beat a team.
No,
I think that's gone. LeBron was the last one, maybe when he beat the Pistons or even when he beat the Nets. But teams are too good. The league is too balanced for one guy to especially in a series. Steph is going to need somebody. And Wiggins did give him 20, but it was an early 20 and it wasn't a late 20. Like, right. Offensively, Wiggins didn't really exist in the second half.
Right.
And somebody will have to close with him. And for what it's worth, I love Steph, but he has a history of not being a great closer. So Giannis has Chris Middleton, LeBron had Kyrie, Jordan had Kerr and Paxson and others. You need somebody that can hit a shot at a certain point. And there was nobody that could get their own shot and hit a shot during that run to break up that run. And that's just not good enough. It's just not good enough. So I think that Warriors got some stuff to figure out. Some people got to look at themselves in the mirror. But Boston ain't just going to quit when you go on a run. And also, Boston is better on the road than at home, and you got to factor that in.
Which is weird as hell. That they won all their Game 7s, winning 3 games on the road.
Right. So I definitely think Golden State will rebound, but they gotta do some things different. I did want to. We talked about Draymond a bit, and Kevin Durant has assaulted on Twitter the media members of Stephen A. Smith, Shannon Sharp, and Skip, which seemingly caught strays for no apparent reason. But KD's KD. But him and Draymond have gotten to it recently over. Draymond, I think, was on a podcast and said that Steph got doubled like 7 times more than KD. KD responded, that's 100% false. I think Draymond posted a picture. I've seen pictures posted of like disputing what KD said. So given how they ended, given their apparent mending of the fences and where they are today, kind of what are you guys' thoughts on the KD Draymond situation, and is Draymond tripping, or did KD benefit more from, Steph getting more doubles? I'll start with you, Chris.
Yeah, and KD is just tripping in general, man. Like, to even sit there and argue that, Steph wasn't being double teamed is asinine. Like, I mean, that was just like a couple of pictures. If you just look at the series, people are gonna double Steph. One, because if you double KD, you're wasting your time already. You're really not gonna do too much with that man anyway. He's a 7-foot monster, lethal shooter. And we see right now just how sensitive KD is. So he was gonna argue no matter what was said if it wasn't a compliment towards him. Like you said, I forgot. I don't even know what Stephen A. really said about him. make him go off on everybody in the media. Do y'all know?
Yeah, he said that Michael Jordan changed the game for the worse.
Oh,
that
yeah.
Steph Curry changed the game for the better. Whatever that.
So like even that has nothing to do with him, but
right.
Yeah, Draymond was. I hate saying this. Draymond was right. I mean, we saw the proof of it that Steph was double teamed. So of course that makes KD's job a hell of a lot easier. That makes everybody's job a lot easier having Steph on your team. So I don't get KD's point.
Yeah, Marcus.
This is where I give LeBron the most credit at right now, because to go to the finals 8 straight years, with how he did it, is amazing. And just to have the Golden State Warriors with Kevin Durant, I think it was 2 out of 3 years, right? If I'm correct. It was 2 out of 3 years.
Yeah.
I think it was 2 out of 3 years.
Yeah, because they lost the year he was hurt.
Right.
They lost for the Raptors.
So yeah,
Kawhi became the best player in the world.
So it's like what do Draymond really have to argue about? Because he has the easiest job on that team is to bring the ball up, pass it to an open shooter, and guard the paint at the time. But that's like the easiest job. Like if I had that job like Draymond, I'd be tooting my own horn and getting in people's faces, calling them the B words and all that stuff too.
He's a facilitator.
That's it, because my job's that easy because I got 3 lethal shooters on my wings that I can.
Steph had the easiest job.
I don't know. So, I said, Draymond.
I've been saying that, okay, as a point guard, Steph has the easiest job. He doesn't have to facilitate.
He doesn't. He's not even a point
guard. He doesn't have to defend.
That's what I'm saying.
Stop that.
The only thing Steph has to do is shoot and float. That's it. He doesn't have to have hand. I mean, he has handles. I'm not taking that away from him.
Steph has handles.
I'm saying that. But he doesn't have to do anything.
You do realize he led the league in the league. He led the team in assists last game.
He did what now?
Led his team in assists. He averaged 6 assists for a career. It ain't like he can't pass the ball.
Okay, right. But he doesn't. That's not his role. That's Draymond's role. That's what I'm saying. We don't put pressure on Steph.
Draymond has to go easier. That's what I'm saying.
What?
His role is easier because if you got Clay on the wing, you got KD on the wing, then you got Steph on the wing. Draymond don't have no ball handling skills in a sense. He just brings the ball up and passes. What I'm saying? You don't ever see Draymond go behind the back, do something fancy with it. He brings it up and then pass it to a shooter and they shoot. That's like the easiest job.
Steph's job is easy. Steph has the easiest job as a point guard in the NBA.
He doesn't. I'm sorry to say it. Steph has to run off screens, run off picks, get a shot off.
He just has to run around and be open.
For Steph's size, he's a good rebounder. He's a great ball handler. And if Steph wanted to, he could probably average 12 assists if he wanted to. It wouldn't be that hard on Golden State if he wanted to.
He's not passing it to himself.
So being the focus of every team's defensive game plan is the easiest job as the point guard. Okay.
And I think
what is I'm talking about, what is he doing offensively? As a point guard, he is not your facilitator. So right there's a big pressure.
They don't have
on defense. He doesn't have to do a damn thing because Clay's going to be the defender.
What top tier point guard does?
Right,
Chris Paul.
No, who Chris Paul guarding? The cone? You talking about?
Anyway, we put what we expect. We expect Chris Paul to be a facilitator. We want Chris Paul to be a defender. We want Chris Paul to be a facilitator.
We don't.
Yes, we do.
Chris Paul is a cone. We don't want him defending anybody.
Whatever.
He can't guard that bad.
What's in that body armor, Bob?
Who is defending Pat Bev?
Not Chris Paul.
Nobody is. There is no team who's ever said, "Oh, we got to stop Pat Beverly tonight." Nobody cares about his 7 points.
Oh, that's funny. I'm not even I'm a Steph fan in the sense. I'm just not overrated on his team. But for me to defend Steph right now, just let you know, that what you just said was asinine.
Does Trae Young play defense?
Not at all.
Does John Morant play defense? Does he guard anybody?
Are they facilitating? Are they facilitating? Are they bringing the ball up?
Yes.
Okay, then Stephen isn't. That's my point.
Are you? So you watched the game last night, and Steph never brought the ball up.
Okay, did I say never? No, but the primary facilitator on that team is Draymond.
Okay, you can say it. So, for that matter, Devin Booker facilitates Phoenix's offense a good amount of time too.
A good amount, but who's the primary? Christopher Emmanuel Paul. We don't do this for Wardell. We don't.
Because their offense is different. It's not like Draymond's bringing the ball up, running pick and roll. Right. They run the offense to get them the ball, and he throws them the ball.
All the little light skinned dude do is just run around and be open, catch and shoot. That's it.
That's my point.
You do know his field goal percentage was like third best in the league.
What?
He finishes at the basket. He shoots mid range. He also averages 6 assists, so he's passing the ball to somebody. Somehow he's getting the assists.
To Clay.
Clay was out almost all year. And we saw Draymond can't shoot. Looney can't shoot. So how are you getting all these assists?
Looney's dunking.
Oh, yeah.
You're lobbing it.
Yeah. At some point, you got to play basketball, right?
How is Steph not playing basketball?
No, that's what I'm saying. So he's getting.
What is this Steph hate all of a sudden?
You have to dunk the ball to score, or you have to shoot the ball to score, right?
Right.
Okay, then. So Looney is not a shooter. He's an inside presence.
Right. That was my point.
Okay, then.
Because Steph makes plays for him.
There you go.
Because he's posted up. He's not doing anything else. He's just sitting there with the rebound.
Nobody is throwing Kevon Looney the ball in the post and saying, go get a bucket. Stop that.
Exactly.
He's getting layups and dunks because Steph or somebody breaks down the defense or he gets an offensive rebound. But that's still Steph.
No.
What's
Carry
what was your thoughts on KD, Ray?
No, and this is hard for me. I am DMV born and bred. I try to support everything DMV. Even I don't like Dan Snyder. I think he's a clown in a lot of ways, but I support the team as best I can. Like the Wizards haven't been good for a while. I support the Wizards. I ride for the Wizards. The Caps are, KD's from here. And I want to keep defending Kevin Durant. But God Almighty, he is exhausting as a personality on social media. I don't know him personally, will probably never meet him. But between him and Wale, it might be a PG County water thing. They are so emotional and so sensitive. And don't tell me don't tell me you're not sensitive if you got a burner account. That means you're scared of the smoke. Say what you say, mean what you say, and live your life. But this idea, and it's just so foolish, specifically when you target someone like Skip Bayless, who has died and got excoriated saying Kevin Durant's the best player in the world over LeBron James.
Yeah.
And that's the guy you keep targeting. Your biggest apologist, your biggest supporter is who you are taking aim at.
Mm-hmm.
It makes no sense.
Oh, Stephen A. too. Stephen A. has been on that hill with him.
But not like Skip though. Skip's been on this since OKC days though.
Right.
Stephen A. would say that Kevin Durant's like the best scorer in the world, or
that's common in the media.
He is the best scorer. I mean,
but best player, which Skip has been saying for since Golden State won those rings.
Right.
Like,
well, since the OKC days,
right. I don't
like his MVP year. Skip was like,
he should have won more, but he was playing with Russ. He was killing Russ, and KD was criticizing Skip because Skip was criticizing Russ when we all saw Russ was the problem. So it's like, what are you doing? The year after winning the MVP, you come to the All-Star game and say, all you media reporters that just said I'm the MVP don't know nothing about basketball. So I get lost and I'm confused. He clearly is. I think he's a smart enough guy. I don't know if he's just a bad troll where people don't get that he's trolling. But this was just dumb. And then to say that they've done bad for the sport, no. Stephen A. and Skip Bayless specifically have done as much for basketball as most anybody in the last 10 years. They talk about it every single day.
Yeah. In a sense, here's what I'm going to agree with Kevin Durant at, is that when it comes to, I think the way he framed it, that Stephen A. said that Michael Jordan made it worse. And I think Kevin Durant said that Michael Jordan and Steph pushed the game forward. In that sense, this is how they could have made it worse, because in a sense that everything has been individualized in basketball right now. It's not really a team thing. Everything goes back to Jordan. No matter who it is, it just goes back to Jordan. Goes back to Jordan. Goes back to Jordan. Since LeBron's been in that conversation, everything just goes back to Jordan. Now, every player that has a great game or something, Jordan done this, or Jordan done that, or Jordan wasn't done in this way. I kind of see where KD has a point with that, of how he said it. But at that time, Jordan brought the game forward. Jordan made it more global with it. But then that comes to the NBA, to Stephen A's point too, because everybody did want to be like Mike. That's how they branded basketball when Michael was doing it. So I kind of see it both ways in a sense. But it's like Michael Jordan did make it worse. That's just how the NBA promoted Michael at the time, with the Gatorade and then the shoes and all that. I get it. But nowadays, everybody is a brand. Everybody's a business. Social media. I get it. But when it comes to basketball and football are the ultimate team sports. You just can't do it with one person. It's just not going to happen. But basketball is so individualized because they want to separate one player off the team and try to push them forward. So I kind of get what Kevin Durant said in a sense.
We look at TV money. That's what CBA is all about, TV money. These guys on TV every day talking about you.
Right.
You got this huge personality with millions of followers that's talking to millions of people a day saying you're the greatest player on the planet. You don't think that plays in the role of potential sponsors? You don't think that you could leverage that into more personal gain for you?
Mm-hmm.
You don't think that helps create NBA shows? Like, you have to be an absolute idiot to think that them talking about you every day is bad for you. Because guess what? There's an off season in the NBA. And if they're not talking about it, who is? Like the Stephen A's and the Skips of the world, they break the stories for the fans, which engages the fans, which the fans are spending the money to pay you to come see you, because they're telling what you did when they can't see it. If they don't have league pass, they can't watch Brooklyn Nets games. Like, there's just so many other issues that I don't understand his approach. I don't understand what he's trying to gain. Like, what did he expect people to say in relation to it? Did he expect people to agree? Did he expect his followers to start coming for Stephen A. Smith and trying to sign a petition to get them off TV? Like, what is even your end game?
I don't get his end game. I think he's the worst troll ever to lace him up in the basketball sense.
Is he a troll though, or is this like really him? I mean,
that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't you can't gauge this dude because he's so sensitive about everything, and when it doesn't even concern him, he puts his name in other people's mouths. So it's like, and then once you start attacking your biggest supporters, like, what are you really about, in a sense?
And that's the thing. Like, that's what I got to agree with Ray on. It's like Skip has gone to bat for him so many times. Like, even throughout that the Boston series, Skip was like, okay, Kevin Durant's gonna turn it around. He's still the best player. He's still the best player. It's like, you come at this man, like, I get it, Skip's an ass, but he supports you no matter what. Like, I'm not saying you have to love the man, but to come at him for something he didn't even do this time. It's just...
And then we know how the community feel about Uncle Shay.
Yeah.
Like, Like, what are you doing?
Oh yeah, no, you don't
Why
get
are
to
you
talk about
attacking
Shea.
Shannon at all? Like,
That's really what I want to talk about.
that
You don't get to talk
Shannon
about
does-
Shea.
Right, with all that Shannon does, he always keeps it 100 and authentic with everything he says about players, former players, just whatever. He keeps it authentic. He'll criticize LeBron if he has to, but we all know he's the biggest LeBron supporter. We all know that next to Nick Wright. But BC keeps it, 100.
Yeah.
You don't take his takes outlandish like some things that Stephen A might say. You know what I'm saying? Because Stephen A might be here with LeBron one day, then down here with Steph the next day, then way over here with Durant one day, then up here with Giannis the next. Like, pick one, Stephen. Like, just pick something and just stick with it. You know what I'm saying? Like, just being loud and just all over the place sometimes. It probably
be
doesn't
wrong.
help the team sometimes. Just like I'm a big fan of the TNT show, but I think Shaq and Barkley, they be putting too much emphasis on old school basketball that they don't see how good the basketball is right now. Like,
I 100% agree with all.
right,
that.
like this is not y'all days no more. Just let that go.
But I'll push back a little and say, and I'm mainly speaking on, like, I know Shaq and Donovan Mitchell got into it. Shaq and Embiid have had some differences.
Mhm.
I don't think they don't appreciate today's NBA. I think they see the talent and they're like, if you would work a little harder, you can be so much better than you are. I don't think they're saying go back and play and get on the block necessarily if that's not in your game. But
that's kind of what Shaq is saying, though. Like, he's
That's
expecting
what I'm saying.
every big man to be in the post. Like,
but when you have that advantage, take advantage of it. And that's my issue with DeAndre Ayton. You bigger than people.
yeah,
And I said the same thing with Bam Adebayo. There's no reason last series Bam shouldn't have been averaging when Robert Williams was out. He should have been 27 and 12. Like, get down there and go get the buckets. But that's, I think, where Shaq's criticism comes from, is
I would
big
push
men
back a little
don't
bit too
use
because
their advantage.
they don't, as far because you can see with some big men when they in the post, these dudes they're getting hammered. They're getting slapped in the face. They're getting hit in the nuts. They're getting elbows to the ribs and all this other, and they half-ass get calls. Just want to push it back a little bit. And B might be a different story
I
because
was saying B shoot a ton of free throws.
he
more than
shoots like
anyone.
13. But the mother big men, I've seen it with Jokic sometimes. I've seen it with
Well, Giannis is getting a lot of calls too.
I've seen it with
Some calls are missed, but
but
if
sometimes
they-
the big men they start off in there and then
if they
you'll see them
consistently
compete.
went up strong and not this finesse game, I
Right.
think they would get more calls. But
But
most of
you
your
see some
big centers, they ain't dunking on nobody. That's what I hate about Aiden. He always laying the ball up. Dunk the ball, man. Dunk
I get
through,
it.
play through contact.
And then it gets frustrating, and then they be like, I don't want to play in the post. I'm not getting the calls. I'm sure that B can probably go to the line 25 times a game.
He does.
13. He doesn't, but I'm sure he could. You know what I'm saying? Just like I'm sure Aiden, if he just gets in the weight room a little bit more and play the post, you will see it.
Yeah.
So it's like
And I'm with all that. For what you're saying. Speaking of somebody, I think the person that, for the most part, has got the least amount of calls is LeBron.
you see some highlights where he literally gets smacked in the
Oh
face.
yeah, and
And
nothing.
it's like there's no calls.
But I think that's something that you can call attention to. And I don't know if we spoke on this, Josh. I think all of us have the game. I have it going 7 in
I do
Boston.
too. I have Boston at 7.
Marcus, who you got in the series?
I had Golden State in 6.
Okay.
Still. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Okay.
So since we're on that real quick, I know you're about to transition, but I have a question. Just because of what we were talking about earlier with Giannis, no matter who wins Finals MVP this year, does that argument start with are they the best player?
No.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up, Chris. I'm glad
If
you brought
Steph
that
wins
up.
Finals MVP, I don't think anybody thinks he's a better player than Giannis. And if they do, we can talk about it. Giannis is the best player in the NBA. And I don't think
Marcus's face.
I don't think it's even that close,
Oh,
to be honest. The closest person is Embiid, I agree with you, but Giannis can do more offensively and defensively than Joel Embiid. Joel Embiid can't bring the ball up.
He has.
he ain't consistently doing that.
He's what Giannis is, taller. He is what Giannis is, bigger. He has a better
No, he's
jump.
not.
He can Euro step. He can get to the paint.
He cannot beat somebody off the dribble as well. Now his post game is better.
He's all around better than Giannis.
Giannis is a much better passer.
Nobody's going to give Embiid the credit that he deserves because he stays hurt all the time.
Well, not this year.
What? He was second in MVP voting.
Yeah, he just stays hurt. I don't want to keep
I didn't think of that, right?
I don't want to keep getting to MVPs because we already know that Embiid got robbed this year.
But that's credit, though. To be second is still credit.
No, who remembers second?
I do.
Okay.
I remember 2009. Chris Paul was second. He should have been it.
For the sake of this conversation, you're saying he doesn't get enough credit. How much credit can you get them being voted the second most valuable player?
Because if you have, I would say, I don't even know if we had a better. I think we might have had the same record or even better record than Denver. And B's numbers on the defensive end was better than Joker's.
I'm not arguing MVP. I'm simply asking, how do you feel they don't give him his credit?
That's what I'm saying, because you have better numbers, you have a better seed, and to start the season off with, you basically was just you and Maxey, basically.
Who do Jokic have, though?
Jokic still has pretty much the same team. You just missing Jamal Murray.
You're just missing Jamal Murray.
Yeah, there was no drama surrounding Denver.
And keep in mind, like
Michael Porter Jr. only played Michael Porter 10 games or something?
What has Michael Porter Jr. done really, other than just going?
He did enough to get a max deal.
He's done nothing in a sense.
Nah,
they just give out max deals. Look at Tobias Harris. They just give out max deals. Ben Simmons, I can just go on. They just give out max.
deals. Ben earned that deal. He ain't fulfilled it since he got it, but he earned that deal.
Like I said, he give out max. Chris Paul's deal to be that old.
Yeah, I don't know why they did it.
All right, we're not doing that. We're not doing that.
You see what I'm saying? Russell Westbrook, max deals, they just give them out. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying. So
he earned it at the time.
So with Embiid, like
John Wall is the one that used.
John Wall. But I think he deserved his money.
Definitely earned it at the time.
I think he earned his money. Like, Houston just played him funny. But back to Embiid, all that drama that he had with Ben Simmons to start off with, you did have a second go-to scorer until Max came alive. And then they traded away some good pieces to me, which I would have waited for, as I've been saying, and got them in the offseason. Joel Embiid was still averaging 30 and 14.
Which is great, but I still think
he's better defensively than Joker. So you're only giving Joker the MVP wise because of assists.
So what your thing is saying though, like he's not getting credit because he didn't win MVP? Because I think everybody acknowledges his talent.
That he should have won. Exactly.
Adam Silver literally said they might revisit the All NBA teams because
you got to, because you don't put
that's showing that but that means they value him.
What I'm saying is you don't put Embiid in a forward position. That's how he got beat out by Joker again.
Right.
He's never played the power forward spot. He's always been the center. So how are you getting forward votes?
They were trying to do that so he could. They were trying to do it how they do all-star voting, make it a backcourt thing.
That's what I'm saying. That's how he's not getting enough credit.
But that's why he is, because they're literally doing this strictly
he should have beat out Joker regardless at the center spot, regardless of what you're saying right now.
But that's why they're doing this, though, because they feel like there was an argument that either one of those could have been it. So they're going to revisit it strictly because Embiid this season.
If you want to say Jokic got the first one, he came in second the prior year, I'm in some agreements. Okay, some. Not a lot, but in some. But this year, this man's been totally robbed, period.
Yes,
so, no, he doesn't get enough credit.
I think we all agree on that.
He doesn't get enough credit. You could try to change the rules and stuff like that, just so he's able to get the great dessert. That's why he changed the rules.
I could see if they left him off All NBA. I could see if he wasn't an All-Star or something. He just had he caught a bad break. Shaq didn't win the MVPs he deserved. Kobe didn't win all the ones he deserved. Mike Jordan probably didn't win all the ones he deserved. Like, that happens. I don't think that means that people don't value Embiid's in the context of the NBA. I just think he lost this particular award, and you just got to kind of take it for what it is.
That's not true. See, you gotta take the vote out of some people's hands. You know what I'm saying? Steve Nash shouldn't have won back-to-back MVP.
Yeah, but it happens.
It happened. That's what I'm saying. So does that mean did they discredit Shaq in this? Yes, they did.
No.
You know what I'm saying? Yes, they did. There was no way that Nash should have won that second MVP over Shaq. So yes, they did discredit Shaq because they deemed Shaq for being so dominant. You see what I'm saying? Oh, we can't give you the second MVP or third, whatever, how many Shaq got that year because you're too dominant. Like you're digging this man for being a great big man, you know, for playing his position the best way, better than anybody, even when the Shaq, even when Kobe and them all was in the league. So you can't punish Shaq for being that dominant or for being big. You see what I'm saying? Just like you can't punish Embiid for being that skilled and that big. You're pretty much punishing them by giving Joker the second MVP award this year. Well, he didn't deserve it. Jokic been the 6th seed in the West for the past 5 years, damn near. You're not really making your team better. It doesn't add up to me.
Like I said, I think I agreed. I would have had Embiid higher. I think you're looking at one aspect of it. And a lot of people,
if they would have gave it to Giannis, I would have had no argument. If they would have gave Giannis the MVP this year.
Over Embiid?
Yeah, I wouldn't have no argument. If it went Embiid.
You put Giannis over Joker for MVP?
That's what I'm saying. Like, if they Joker did not
I do too, but I wouldn't.
So if you had
the second MVP award, is what I'm saying.
So your battle would have been Embiid, Giannis?
Yes.
Yeah.
No, I wouldn't even have Joker in there.
Well, no, I had Devin Booker.
I had Booker, but
I said I had Devin Booker too.
I had Booker as MVP, but that's another story.
Embiid was second, and I would have had Giannis third. I'm not a Joker fan though. I everything Marcus you're saying I agree with. Just the outcome, I think we disagree on, and that's fine. We can move on to the last topic before we get out of here. History was made. A lot of history was made last night, but some big money was made with LeBron James. I don't have an applause. We haven't had many Jordan LeBron conversations here. Most people that know me
know that you're wrong.
I'm sorry, what?
We know that you're wrong.
No, I'm not wrong. Most people think I hate LeBron, and I don't. When I was growing up, I had LeBron James, St. Vincent St. Mary jersey. I had the first LeBron ones. I was a LeBron guy. I appreciate and respect all that he has accomplished. Me and Skip Bayless, for lack of a better term, I think appreciate LeBron. We just bow our backs when you start comparing them to Jordan. If you leave that comparison alone, LeBron's phenomenal. Like, he's everything you could really ask for in every aspect of the game. But I think the big key here is off the court. And just what he's done for player empowerment, for not taking them, for telling players to take the max. He seemingly hits on every endorsement deal that he touches, whether it's Beats, whether it's pizza. He just seems he seems to make every right decision. I don't know what bad investments he has, but I ain't heard of him. The I Promise School, he's like 100% off the court. And so at this age, to not even be 40, to be in great health by all accounts, to be performing at a high level, and to hit this mark with his teenage crew, nobody changed up, nobody got jealous. He ain't got a bunch of baby moms. Like, he's it. Like, I don't know what else to say other than he's it. And so huge shout out to him. More I expect will be on the way. I don't think this is a time to take a break. I think this is the time to continue to put the pedal to the metal. And so that's really my piece on it. Just congratulations to him. Shout out to him. Amazing accomplishment. And I can only hope that more comes in the future. Marcus, the floor is yours.
Yeah, I'm never going to hate on the man for getting money. His investments definitely kicked off. I know he's an intelligent guy because you just don't make them type of investments without doing your research. And he too much doesn't speak on or does anything without doing research first. So I'm all for him getting to $1 billion. I'm just trying to get to where he at in the sense of I'm just trying to become a millionaire.
Right.
So I'm glad he got to $1 billion. I'm proud of that brother. He's doing a good thing with his money. You know, I mean, if you want to, go to stereotypes, that us black men have a bunch of baby mamas and all kinds of kids running around, go for it. I mean, I'm not going to give him credit for being a dad. I'm quite sure we all dads on this thing, so I'm not going to give him credit for being a dad. Awesome to you, all power. But I am going to give him credit, for becoming the first active, billionaire in the NBA. I respect that. I'm just trying to get to millionaire status, my way, doing this media thing and everything else like that. So hopefully I can make on some good investments like he did and all that good stuff. All power to the brother. I respect it.
I think it's more of like, not that, that he's such a good dad, but you got to think about it. This man was on Sports Illustrated at 17 years old. I mean, I think about when I was 17, if I had that kind of impact, how dumb I would have been. And like, just the things that he's done, like, he's not in trouble. We don't hear about LeBron doing anything outside of his marriage or in the law, law issues or anything along those lines. He's been a great role model off the court. I mean, how you feel about him on the court is a whole different thing, but you cannot argue the success of this man off the court as a man, as a father, as a husband, and then as a businessman, which is really, definitely what got him to this point, to still be like, he's turned his side hustles into major sources of income.
Of course.
His primary thing is basketball, but like we said, he has the investments, the Blaze Pizza, the shoes, the movies. Like, this man is doing everything while still being dominant on the court. You cannot knock anything LeBron James has done, and that's why I say he's GOAT.
Yeah, I don't want to go personal.
I had to get it in there.
I'm not gonna go personal with his life, because if you're married, you should be doing what you should be as a married man.
Marcus, it's different. Let's not minimize.
I kind of because for everybody that's married out there, we don't get the limelight like he got because of basketball.
But it's different.
That's why it's so different, though.
I'm not mad at that. I'm just keeping it business wise and basketball wise. Like, I respect it. He's a great man. Like, I don't know his personal life. I don't care to know his personal life. But what I see on the court,
okay, and think about that right there, Marcus. We don't know his personal life.
Right.
That tells you a lot.
No, what I'm saying is, all power to you, but I'm not going to just uplift this man for being a great husband or a great dad when there's plenty of other brothers out there that's doing the same thing.
But it's not discrediting them at all.
Yeah,
it's not.
When it comes to
I acknowledge y'all. I acknowledge you're brave.
When it comes to basketball, I'm gonna keep it basketball. His personal life, being married, great father, that's personal. I don't want to touch on that because I won't want nobody touching on that in my situation. You know what I'm saying?
Well, Marcus, you don't got to. But as a young man that went to college, been around women all my life, and I love women, I couldn't imagine what it would be like to have $100 million at 18.
Exactly.
6'8", 250 pounds packed out. I can have every woman in the world sliding in my DMs and everything else, and I turn it all down. And maybe he hasn't, maybe we don't know, but he's been thorough enough to make sure nobody does know. I look at Shaq, I look at Kobe, I look at Magic, I look at Jordan. They all was in not even the same situation, and they were far worse. Shaq talking about as recently as a month ago, it was his fault. His marriage didn't work. And there's Shannon Sharp, Barkley, you can talk to a whole bunch of them. Wilt Chamberlain, Joe Namath, they all.
Wilt Chamberlain was married though.
So my point is that ain't easy, especially as he was really one of the first big athletes in the social media era. Like, I am going to give him extra credit, and I respect all the other men that are good husbands, but most of them, I would argue the majority of the men you just talked about, if they was in his position, they would be different husbands and fathers, and he didn't. Without a fatherly example at that. When a lot of the other ones I just mentioned had fathers in the households. So I cannot applaud him enough for that.
And just the image that sets for like younger generations. I mean,
right, it removes the excuse from all the other people. If he can do it,
that is the ultimate definition of it. Look what he did.
So,
yeah.
For every LeBron, we got a James Harden. So
he's the second best player ever to play the game basketball.
All right, so we ain't got this. We talking about money now. Let's keep it on money.
Money too. So
well, his money is what. I mean,
his basketball is what got him his money.
Yeah, his ability to being the best basketball player ever is what got him to that money.
I think I read like 85% of his billion doesn't come from the NBA. Like, yes, NBA was the gateway, but
right, that's what
it wasn't NBA content.
Yeah, he turned those sides to the main. Yeah,
and you also got to remember, he has been front and center for a lot of social justice stuff.
Yeah,
which could have cost him a lot of money, and even in spite of that, he still managed to reach this status while still being outspoken and taking stances that weren't necessarily popular with the people that write him checks. Like, you can't say enough about that commitment and dedication. And so he gets all the respect in the world from me for that.
And then like one of his best friends is Chris Paul, which I'm pretty sure like just boosted everything in his life. So
and
that has to help.
Hey, so's Carmelo Anthony, and look at his situation.
That shows him what not to do.
I ain't even gonna touch on that, but Carmelo, your boy,
and Dwayne Wade is a heck of a dad.
We ain't doing Dwayne Wade.
But at some point,
we're trying to get sponsors eventually too. So let's not do Dwayne Wade right now.
Like, hey, Carmelo, that's your boy. That's like Carmelo,
So when you have those kind of influences around, and you still hang tight. But yeah, man, game one, heck of a series we have here. I do think it'll go a while. We will be back next week. I think we should be almost 4 games in by then, maybe 3. Because I think they have 2 games off in between each game.
Yeah, let me see. 3 is Sunday.
Game 2 is Sunday.
2 is Sunday.
2 is Sunday. 3 is Wednesday.
Mm-hmm.
So
4 might be Friday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Either way, we will be here to break it all down for y'all. Give y'all the insight. Marcus, you were relatively mild today. You said some crazy things, but it was a mild day for you, Marcus.
I think that I said was crazy. I'm just not gonna give Jason Tatum, that light-skinned brother, too much credit.
Hey,
I think I had the crazy take tonight.
You did come in kind of hot with the light.
That's all. I just lit the stove with the grease on it. That's all I did.
I understand, but appreciate y'all, fellas. Y'all enjoy the weekend. Stay safe out there, and we'll see y'all Friday at 10 o'clock. Tune in to Fast Break. Have a good one.
Whole sports all plays. Yeah. Whole sports all plays.